Hey, welcome to episode 63 of Scar Bearers. I'm Chris DT Gordon. As always, it's a blessing to have you here with me today. And Nate and Britton Beran bringing their technological wizardry to my humble shire. If you want them to do their work on your projects, just reach out to them at Nate Beran. Well, folks, I'm doing my best sharing the attitude of gratitude tag with as much people as I can, but I could definitely use your help. So if you go to linktr.ee/Chris DT Gordon, you can see my speaking websites, my YouTube and podcast channels, my professional Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and I also have freebies. You can check out the tag one sheet and my article for Life Quote Journal. And there's also the Chris DT Gordon's Tag and Pop Shop. Buy a tag shirt so you remind yourself of the attitude of gratitude. Well, folks, I am so excited to have my new friend Michael Weitzman on with me. He is from New York, New York. That's why I have the Ninja Turtles and Super Grover on my wall. Michael, how are you today?
I am doing great.
Excellent. And Michael, you are one of my heroes, my new heroes, because you are an advocate for mental health. Now, one of my, people who've listened to me before know that I feel that mental health is health. If your mental health is not stable, then you are gonna struggle in all aspects of your life. And you, for the past 6.5 years, you have been a staunch advocate of this. And so, but it's got to start somewhere, right, Michael?
Yeah, it started a long time ago. This is I'm going to give you the cliff notes
All right.
about my amazing life with struggles and disappointments. It all started when I was 5 years old, 6 years old. I used to stutter, and I used to have a lisp. And even back then, at 5 or 6, kids can be very, let's put it this way, mean to you when you're not talking properly, when you have a stutter or a lisp. So I dealt with a little trauma at a very early age. Then I had a normal childhood. Everything was fine, no problems. Then I went to high school. And then basically at the age of 16, that's when things changed. At 16, you usually, what do? You go get your road test, right?
Yes, sir.
You do your road test. So I took my road test. Unfortunately, I took it once, took it twice, took it 3 times. I failed my road test 3 times.
So the third time wasn't the charm.
When you're 16 years old and you failed your road test 3 times, you don't just feel like a loser. You don't want to be part of anyone. You want to do what people are doing now during the pandemic. It's called isolation.
Mm-hmm.
I did not want to be part of parties that we were going to back then, and all the other things going on, because everyone just asking me, so did you pass your road test and what car do you drive? And I would say, I got to go. And basically, it was very traumatic. And that's where the mental illness, when you're going to hear me change the word illness to a mental injury, mental health condition, mental health challenges, because I don't like illness, don't like to say illness, but back then I had a mental health condition, but I suffered in silence for such a long time. So during that started it when I was 16, I just barely made it through college, barely made it through high school, then college, and again had the same theme. Always had a problem taking tests, whether it's a road test or taking a regular test. Always had that problem, but I was able to get through and graduate college, and then struggled trying to find a job for 6 years. And that's when the mental health conditions, I was still living with my parents before I got my own apartment. But the thing was, I was suffering in silence. And that is the biggest thing that I do. I'll get into the good stuff later. But I suffered. And then all of a sudden, I lucked out when I was like in 1987. I got into the mortgage industry. And after about 6 months, my manager was about to fire me, and he had a heart attack. That's bad for him, but unfortunately good for me because they took someone else as a manager. and I just dominated from there. I
Oh,
just
wow.
dominated, become an unbelievable sales rep. I call myself a successful product or service promoter. It's a sexier word than saying sales rep. So the point is, I just dominated in the mortgage industry, and then eventually, I was single. I bought my own condo. Then I eventually got married. I had 2 young girls, and things were going pretty good during that time of those 25 years, or what I call it, when I was just suffering in silence. Now, you're probably going to say, like, if you're making all this money in the mortgage industry, how can you even suffer with a mental health condition, with your depression or your bipolar? And I still haven't came out of the closet yet. I didn't even get help yet during those 25 years. The problem is I was a commission rep. And when you don't know what your income is going to be certain days, certain months, you get nervous. So I had that at times. And the thing is, making all that money was what? Chris, it was an antidepressant.
Oh, yeah.
Money was my antidepressant because I wasn't going out. I was still living like, I don't want anyone to know that I have this mental health condition. My parents barely knew what was going on, and they were my biggest support staff. Eventually, they knew that I was suffering so much. And then, after those 25 years of suffering in silence, I was married with 2 young girls. I said, I got to get help. The income started to go down later in 2000, in 2006, 2007, 2008. But even before that, in 1999, that's when I came out of the mental health closet. And I went on the triangle, which means I saw a psychiatrist, I had a therapist, and they gave me meds. The psychiatrist gave me meds. So I put myself on the triangle: psychiatrist, meds, and the therapist. That's what I tell people to start. When you're trying to find, the first thing is dealing with acceptance. So I finally dealt with my acceptance that there is something going on, and I opened up and I went and got help in 1999.
Okay.
So those 25 years of suffering in silence, I finally did something. But unfortunately, I had an unloving and unsupportive wife that basically said, if you do take medicine or see a psychiatrist or go to an inpatient hospital, I'm going to divorce you.
Oh, wow.
So I had the pressure put on top of me with the verbal abuse, because she had no idea what a mental health condition was, what mental illness was. She thought I was just faking it, and I just want to lay my head in the couch just for the hell of it. So she did not know. So she's part of that stigma that I'll get into in a minute. So I just got the help, got on the triangle, but unfortunately, it didn't get me to the promised land, Chris. I
No,
would be taking medicine, another type of medicine. I go into here. Here's just a few of my
wow,
medicine.
that's a big bag, big Ziploc bag of meds you just held up.
So I call it. It took me really, you'll see, almost 40 years to finally what? Get the right combination. It's called the Lay's Potato Chip Syndrome Award. And it goes
Nice.
like this: you just can't have just one psychiatrist, one type of therapist, or one type of medicine, because it takes a long time to finally find that right combination.
Yep.
So,
I want to go back real quick, Michael. Sorry. You're on such a roll, and I was enjoying it so much. I want to get back to those 25 years when you're suffering in silence. And I want to highlight this a bit because there might be someone listening who might also be suffering in silence. What were some days like when what were some bad days like when you couldn't speak out to your wife, and things were going well monetarily, but you were still struggling mentally?
no, I mean, even then, and even for the 15 years, you'll see after the 25, I still had sadness. I still had anger. I still was overreacting to so many things that were going on. I was unhappy, even though I was making this money, but then it started to go down. So I was really having problems. So
Yeah.
during those 25 years, it probably was, I was doing okay because of the money, but I was like overreacting to things. I was basically suffering in silence. But then, like I said, these are the things I call it. I would be doing okay, and then all of a sudden, bang, the ticking time bomb would go
Oh,
off. So I
okay.
use it the ticking time bomb effect. So during those 25 years, it was my better years with my mental health condition. I was on and off, but it was the next 15 years from 1999 to October 16th, 2014. For those 15 years, I suffered so much of so many like isolation and sadness and overreacting, negative thoughts. I mean, these are things I call myself, I was in what? The cave of hell. I don't know if your audience knows, but I'm sure I know, and they might know, because I'm all about relating what happened to me. I would be in my bed, put the covers over my head, and that's what I would do all day. I wasn't looking to do anything about taking my life. I just wanted to get rid of this depression, and it wouldn't go away. So I would have things called the neon sign.
Yeah,
that really is, what's the neon sign? It's meaning that my depression, my mental health condition was open 24/7, just like a diner. And it
that's what's
never
flashing.
went away. So during the 25 was okay, even though I did suffer, it was the 15 years of the 40 that I really suffered, where even though I came out of the mental health closet and I told you I did the triangle, I couldn't get to the promised land. I've been in 6 psychiatric hospitals.
Wow.
4 outpatient clinics. I've had shingles twice on my face in 9 months, which is unusual. And then I had 22 ECT treatments. I tried everything.
ECT is what now?
ECT is those shock treatments to your brains.
Okay.
ECT, electric compulsive therapy. So I tried everything for those 15 years with the medicine, with the psychiatrist, and then with the talker, my therapist, but I still couldn't find the right combination. And then on January 2nd, 2008, I tried to take my life. I used these gloves, which I don't tell people how I did it or what I tried to do, but I used these gloves in a way to try to take my life. And that really was traumatic, because I know the date, January 2nd, 2008, and that was the last time I would see my wife, eventually now my ex-wife. I wouldn't see the kids for a little while because I was really sick with my depression, bipolar depression. That's what I got diagnosed with. So those 15 years were so difficult in my life. I would sleep under my desk when I was working in the mortgage industry, and they would find me under my desk. I would go to parks and just sleep. I would take a little extra medicine, not to take my life, just to go to sleep, and to wake up 5 hours later, and the depression, bipolar, is still there. It doesn't go away. It never went away. So I suffered and suffered in silence for over 40 years with my mental health condition, and the 15 was the worst. So that's just giving you the bad stuff.
Yeah. Now, you said October 16th, 2014. I'm guessing that's a very specific date.
Yes. October 16th, 2014 is the date I went into my 6th psychiatric hospital. But let's move it back a few months.
Okay.
On August 11th, 2014, a guy named Robin Williams, I say suicide or Lewy body dementia, took Robin Williams' life. And that's him in Patch Adams, which is my favorite movie, which I'll get into in a minute. Yep. So when Robin Williams did what he did, I got even sicker. I was sicker. So that was in August of 2014. Then I went into my hospital October 16th, 2014. But I went into my 6th psychiatric hospital. But this time, even though I was very sick, I said, you know what? This time, I'm going to do everything in my power to be this type of speaker, performer, advocate, and stand-up comedian. I'm not trying to be like Robin Williams. He was my mentor. He was my most favorite underrated actor that I know, and the most amazing comedian and the most improv comedian by far on this planet. So I have so many movies. I watch all his movies. I've watched all his stand-up. I loved Robin Williams. So when he did what he did, I got incredibly sick, went into the hospital, but I made a decision. I said, Michael, what are you going to do this time? I said, because the only 5 times I went in before, I didn't get better. I mean, I made one of these. See this? I
That
made it to
is
the
a
psychiatric
nice
hospital,
dog, that bobblehead dog. I
this is
like
what
it.
really got me better. Duh. No, it didn't. A bobblehead dog is not going to get you to the promised land to get and stay mentally well during art therapy at a psychiatric hospital. So, what happened? I decided to work on, as you can see behind me, a workshop presentation called The Three Amigos of Mental Health. And
Yep.
the Three Amigos of Mental Health, which one are you? I've been all three. The first amigo of mental health is someone that is suffering with their mental health condition. The second amigo of mental health is someone that's suffering in silence, which I was for 25 years, which many people in our society are suffering in silence. I'll get into that in a minute. And then the third one is the third amigo of mental health is someone that's not suffering with a mental health condition. I say to those people, Mazel tov, good for you. But those people need to know what it tastes like and what it feels like to have a mental health condition so they can be more understanding and more loving to the friends and family or cohort that are suffering with a mental health condition.
Yes.
So while I was in the workshop, I would come up with things in a psychiatric hospital similar to Patch in Patch Adams, with Robin Williams played Patch Adams. Same similar story. While I'm in a psychiatric hospital, I'm putting together a workshop called The Three Amigos of Mental Health. I would come up with some things. I would call myself bipolar instead of bipolar. And now I'm calling myself bipolar no longer. I would come up with things like bipolar gum.
Yep, you got
Yes,
stick gum there written with bipolar gum on the front.
It's beautiful. Isn't that beautiful?
That's very nice work.
Now you too can have the taste and the feel of having bipolar. But don't worry, each stick comes with free hospitalization, ECT treatment, and permission to run naked in your local shopping mall. I've done that 3 times. So chew up, ladies and gentlemen. And I got schizophrenia gum next week. So the idea was to normalize mental health, that it wasn't your fault, it isn't shame, it's not guilt, and have fun with your mental health. So while I was in that psychiatric hospital, I came up with wellness tools that you can use with your psychiatrist, with your medicine, and with your talker. Some of the things that I would come up with, and I've been using these for over 6.5 years. So since I got out of that discharge, that's the word they say in psychiatric terms, I got discharged from a psychiatric hospital on October 29th, 2014, and I have been well and stayed mentally well now for over 6.5 years. I use what? Wellness tools. I'm still taking a little bit of medicine. I don't see a therapist. I am my own counselor, a therapist, but I'm not telling people not to take medicine, not to see a psychiatrist, and not to see a therapist. I'm not saying that. Or take medicine. You do those things, the triangle, but maybe sometime you may be able to wean off or not have to go as much or go at all. Mm-hmm. So these are the wellness tools. Now, some of the wellness tools that I use now, I do journaling. I do deep breathing exercises. I do meditation. I do affirmations, a creed, prayer, God, Bible, Jesus, acupuncture, hypnosis, walks on the beach, aromatherapy, smells of candles, anything. I have a cat. My cat. The serotonin that comes out of my head is when I'm petting my cat is a wellness tool. I'm a Jewish man that accepted Jesus 10 years ago. That's a wellness tool. So these are some of the wellness tools that have got me to and here's the key, stay mentally well. But of course, the biggest wellness tool of them all, even though God and Jesus is pretty up there, I have to admit, mine was using humor as my biggest wellness tool.
Nice red nose there.
Mentally well.
So what is your What do your, I guess, previous therapists and psychiatrists think of this humor avenue that you've taken?
How are you saying? What do you think of like psychiatrists or therapists think of what I'm doing?
Yes.
I think they're feeling threatened, to be
Okay.
honest with you. I really believe they think I don't want people to go see them anymore, just use the wellness tools, which
Okay.
that's not what I'm advocating about. That's
Okay.
not what I'm talking about. I'm telling them to use it while you're seeing a psychiatrist, while you're seeing a therapist, and while you're getting medicine for the psychiatrist. But I'm a different type of relatable, engaging resource that
Yes.
can help people that are what? Suffering in silence, or educate the ones that are not suffering. Those are the three amigos of mental health. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what some of them. I had one recently. I'm not going to give you who, but she thought that I might be a liability because I'm going to bring up bipolar gum. I guess she thinks some of her clients are going to run to CVS and ask for bipolar gum. I don't get it,
Yeah,
but
they're gonna
but
take it off the shelves.
Chris, I'm not for everybody.
Yep.
So, and humor is not for everybody. But
Mhm.
I'm telling people there are reasons, and I want to get into it right now, Chris, which is really important, why you want to have humor, laughter, and smiles in your life. And the reasons is three right off the bat: endorphins, serotonins, and dopamine gets released from your brain.
Mhm.
It's a warm and fuzzy, happy feeling, a reward feeling, a reward experience, especially when you're watching comedy, reading comedy, looking comedy, doing comedy. It's all. It boosts your immune system. It's so important to have humor, laugh, and smile. What else it does? It dulls and kills the pain. It reduces your blood pressure. These are things that are out there that's saying it protects the heart. It alleviates stress and anxiety. Look, it's also a natural beauty enhancer. Look, I'm just kidding about
You're
that.
gorgeous.
It produces empathy. It's contagious. When you start laughing, I'm going to start laughing, Chris. It also increases attention. Now, for a job interview, if you do a nice type of humorous thing to your new boss, that's appropriate. That's gonna like that.
Yep.
That's going to like that. And it's a way to success. It increases productivity. I want to speak to Amazon. I want to speak to Walmart. I want to speak to all corporations because 1 out of 4 people are diagnosed with a mental health condition. That's 1 out of 4 in the United States. What about the
Crazy.
others that are suffering in silence that haven't come out of the mental health closet? So these are just some of the things. It improves your feeling well-being. And then the most important reason you want to have humor, laughter, and smiles in your life, it will make you live a longer life. You know how I know that? I Googled it. No, seriously. The
Makes
point
sense.
is, you got Bob Hope lived to 100,
Mhm.
George Burns lived to 100. I'm not saying you're going to live to 100 if you do comedy, watch comedy, but I'm telling you, it's definitely great. And this is one of the things I talk about when I do these webinars and seminars and podcasts. I'm going to ask you this, and you're going to answer this question.
Okay.
How many times does a 4-year-old laugh and smile during the day?
Okay. I've heard this before.
Oh,
It's
don't give.
somewhere in the triple digits, like 300 times, right?
Yeah, 300 to 400 times a day. Now, how many times does a 40-year-old laugh and smile during the day?
Ooh, a little less. I'm thinking maybe 15.
Between 3 and 12 times a day.
Ooh.
What is that telling you? You get to have humor and laughter, smiles in your life.
Mm.
And like I said before, watching Patch Adams, it's an inspiration movie. It's about improving people's quality of life. That's what I'm all about. So these are just some of the things that I go into. But again, using what? The wellness tools, showing that it's not shame. And from the movie called Good Will Hunting, do you remember the movie?
I do indeed. How about them
How
apples?
many times that Robin Williams says to I always forget his name.
Matt Damon?
Matt Damon. He goes to him and he won an Academy Award, Robin Williams, for that movie. He should have
Yep.
won more, but that was the one he won. And he goes to Matt Damon about 12 times. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. it's not your fault. Because that's what I try to tell people, whether you have an addiction, suicide thoughts, or mental health condition, whatever is going on with you inside and out, it's not your fault. It's not shame. It's not guilt. It's strength when you go for your recovery and you work on getting out of the mental health closet. There are many addicts, addiction people, and mental health people that still are suffering in denial. They do not want to come out. They're afraid of the stigma. And I don't want to smash the stigma. I want to get rid of it for good, because this is the thing holding so many people back. It's just like having a broken arm, but we have what? A brain. To my good friend, Dr. Rob Kelly, and I told him I'm going to use it. He calls it a brain injury. Okay. I love that. Or mental health injury, a mental health challenge. And there it is. There's my brain. I was able to take it out of my head before.
That's a nice brain you got there.
It's a big brain, but
it is
small ego. So the point is, these are the things that I'm promoting while I'm speaking and performing all over, that use the wellness tools, man. There's so many things that you can use in your wellness tools, and use humor. So that's just some of the stuff that I'm doing right now.
Okay. I really quick, Michael, as you were talking, I was thinking that those, professionals, psychologists or psychiatrists and therapists, they should really see you as a bridge. To help people, taking them from their silent struggle to getting their professional help. Because, what you're doing here is you're normalizing. You're saying it's okay to have this struggle. It's okay to seek help. And, by using these wellness tools, you may be able to fix the problem or stave it off until you do get that professional help.
Yep. No doubt. And I think the major thing, Chris, is that if I had an addiction problem, this is me, I want to talk to a counselor that used to have an addiction. It's relatable.
Yes.
If someone has tried to take their life, I tried to take my life. It's relatable. If someone is suffering in silence or suffering now with their mental health condition, I'm relatable. So I'm not saying that every psychiatrist or every therapist has to suffer with their own mental health condition. Many don't. And that's the difference. And I'm more of a relatable bridge, or someone that can complement the medicine, psychiatry, and the therapist. I'm not telling them not to do it. I'm telling them to use the wellness tools with the triangle. And it's a beautiful thing. And that's why I'm dealing with people from India, in the UK. I'm getting famous. It's amazing what the Zoom world has done to me.
Yeah.
I'm connecting with all over the world, and I'm spreading this. I call myself you don't want to get the coronavirus, right? Yep. You don't want to get it. Still don't want to get it. But the virus you want to get is the Michael Weitzman bipolar. And the virus for me is that I am so contagious and infectious with my words that I really will spread inside your body and in your soul to help you with your mental health challenges, your addiction, suicide thoughts, and many other things, and be a different type of resource. And that's where I'm headed. And it's a beautiful thing, because that's the goal for me. And my purpose is all about what can I do to use my passion to give value to help others. And in this case, help others in the mental health field.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing that you're doing, Michael. I was going to ask you how you have pivoted given the last 14 months, 13, 14 months since the pandemic hit. And, so you've been doing Zooms all over the world. And I know that you also have a certain alter ego named Mrs. Staying Alive. Were you going to talk about her a little bit?
Right here.
I see you getting on a lovely picture of her, a lovely Jewish woman.
Staying alive. You see it?
She looks gorgeous.
She is gorgeous. Because it doesn't matter what you look like and it doesn't matter what's going on with you.
Yep,
So I
exactly.
have a character I came up with. The character is almost 5 years old.
Okay.
Her name is Mrs. Stayin. Not staying. I'm not trying to steal anything from the Bee Gees.
Yep.
Miss Staying Alive. And I used to dress up as a woman, pretty interesting looking woman, as you can see. And I used to go to assisted living places and nursing homes because my mom was in one. And I would go there to engage with people that have dementia, people that had cancer, people that were in disability in a wheelchair, and get them to laugh, get them to smile, get them to engage. And then that character started to go further, where I auditioned for America's Got Talent 3 times, 3 years in a row, and I also just auditioned for Britain's Got Talent. And whether I get on or not, the character is, she's all about here. This is what the character is. Mrs. Staying Alive is Patch Adams meets Mrs. Dotfire, and it's all about my little tribute to the amazing Robin Williams. And what am I trying to do? By getting rid of this stigma of mental illness or mental health challenges, by using humor as my biggest wellness tool. Whether it's going to be as Michael Weitzman, Bipolar No Longer, or as Mrs. Staying Alive in character, it doesn't make a difference. And regarding my workshop and Mrs. Staying Alive, it's all about what? Equality, equity, diversity, and inclusion for all people, regardless of what's going on with them, whether they have a mental health condition, whether they have a chronic illness, whether they have a disability, or they're elderly, or whatever's going on inside and out. What is the reason? We are all created equal. So just because you have something going on with you, you have an addiction, we are still equal. Just because you have a mental health condition and you're still working on it and you haven't got to the promised land, we're still equal. And that's got to change in our society. And that's a big one that I'm trying to work on.
Yes.
Because a lot of people still don't get it. They just say, oh, mental illness? Ooh, like you can't catch it, okay? I go into a myth thing. You can't touch you and you get mental illness. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and yeah, it still amazes me in this day and age that we have such a stigma, as you said, about mental illness. I mean, our bodies fail us all the time. Why do we expect our minds to be perfect 24/7?
Yeah.
So, well, Michael, what do you have going on in the near future? I mean, it sounds like you're keeping busy with Zooms. Do you have any other projects coming down the line?
Well, I'm working with the owners of this company, and I'm calling it Mental Joy.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding on that one. Now, I am so busy, and I do a return on the word busy too. I don't like when people say I'm busy, but that's a different thing. I am really working on so many projects. I have 3 conferences in May, because May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes.
And I am getting paid, which is amazing. I'm not doing seminars yet, because when I do a seminar, I throw the bipolar gum in the audience. I got over 1,000 stress brains I throw in the audience. I throw lifesavers, because what? I'm a lifesaver. So I go into all these things. I have fun. It's an experience. Even on a webinar, when I do a conference, you're going to have fun with Michael Weitzman. I make it cool. I make it fun. I make it sexy. I make it enjoyable, and I make it humorous and helpful to what? To talk and work on your mental health challenges, addiction, suicide thoughts, or whatever it is. And I'm trying to what? What I'm trying to get people to say, it's okay to talk about humor and have fun with your mental health. Not make fun, have fun. And again, the most important thing is I'm trying to get people to do what I have done, is I have literally stayed mentally well for over 6.5 years. So I'm doing conferences, I'm doing tons and tons of podcasts that people now want me on the show, because I'm very infectious and contagious with my spreading inside of people with my love and my passion. I got the most passion that anybody can have, but you can't go to school to go. I want to take Passion 101. There's no course in high school or college. That comes from life experiences. It comes from disappointments. It comes from when you're struggling. And of course, when you're inspiring and you're doing those. So I'm just doing that. I'm working on my book. That's been the top one. I got to get the book out. I want to got a documentary out on my story, and I got to get a movie out.
Okay.
I want to be that person nationally known and in the world known. And it's not about ego. Ego stands for edging God out. That's from Wayne Dyer. Because
Yep.
I'm not into ego. I'm ready for success. I am getting more and more exposure and access. But the key is how you handle yourself when you get famous or successful. It's not about the money for me. I had all the money and I gave half of it to my ex-wife. So I don't need that. Money's not important. I'm 62 and my attitude now is, what am I going to do to help you? It's just like my favorite thing. You ever hear about the starfish story?
Yes. Yes. Helping one at a time.
You want to say it again because I just came up with it last month. I didn't know about it. For
Really?
your audience, the starfish is a little boy is seeing all these starfish floating in the ocean and that's floating to the shoreline. Tons of starfish. So the little boy, like 7 or 8 years old, he takes the starfish and he throws them back one by one. He's throwing them in the ocean. All of a sudden, an old man comes by and says, "Wait a minute, what are you doing?" So I'm just throwing the starfish back in the ocean. He says, "There's so many here on the shoreline. You're not going to be able to throw all of them into the ocean." So the little boy takes the starfish and goes and throws it. And he says, "But you know, I just helped that one."
Mm-hmm.
One at a time. Michael Weitzman, Bipolar no longer, Mrs. Staying Alive is helping people one at a time. Be a different resource. Be on every platform. I'm hopefully going to be on more TV and radio because that's where I want to get on Ellen, Dr. Oz, Kelly Clarkson, Tamron Hall. Once I get on, there's no stopping me. But it's not about, it's all about being humble
Mm-hmm.
and showing humility. And even though I might be more famous than other people, again, doesn't make me better than you. As Wayne Dyer would say, I'm not better than you. I'm just better than I used to be. Be a better person. Be a better listener. Be your better father. Be your better lover. That I don't have to worry about. But you know what I mean.
I mean what you know, Michael. So yeah, I could definitely tell you've got the passion in spades. And I want to thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your story and a lot of your wellness tools. If someone else wanted to experience your wellness tools, oh, I love that mask. You got to be safe. You know, safety first. If someone wanted to reach out to you, Michael, to learn more of your tricks of the trade, or maybe even schedule you for a webinar or a Zoom call, how could they reach out to you?
Best way to get me is my social media handles. You can email me at mweitzman, and it's spelled Weitzman. So it's mweitzman3@gmail.com. They can go on LinkedIn and find Michael Weitzman on LinkedIn. My Twitter is at mweitzman3. My Instagram is at weitzmanmichael. My YouTube is Michael Weitzman, where you'll see all my amazing videos. And if you email me, I'll send you my Goldcast video that has over 2 million views. They made me the star. I have a TV story. I was on Chasing News. And then, of course, just contact me on any way possible by emailing me, and I will send them the wellness tools. I will send them inspirational movies, Silver Lining Playbook, Pay It Forward, Patch Adams. You got to watch Patch Adams, man.
Oh, yes.
The disease, you win or lose. But when you treat a person, I guarantee you always win.
Yes.
That's one of the lines in the movie of Patch Adams, and that's my favorite movie.
Yes. And I love your passion for it. Now, again, that your email is mweitzman3@gmail.com, right?
That is correct.
Okay. I'm going to make sure in the show notes, all that information is in there. And one more thing, Michael, what is your favorite dinosaur?
My favorite dinosaur has to be Dino. Dino the dinosaur from the Flintstones.
And why is that?
I thought he was a lovable dinosaur. And I just love that show with the Flintstones. It reminds me of the Honeymooners, but in the cartoon sense with Barney and Fred. And I do a comedy routine on that. But not for this show. That's my
Gotcha.
regular stand-up comedy. That's a little different.
Yep.
But I just believe we don't. I'm a little bit of a Dino. I'm getting up there in age, but I
Okay.
want to show people you're not too old to try to do your goals and your dreams of getting on TV, getting on radio, and making a difference in people's lives, even at an older age. And it's not too late. When I suffered for over 40 years and suffered in silence for 40 years to finally get and stay mentally well, which I've done for over 6.5 years. So never give up attitude, never give up on anything you want to do. You can do anything you want, even when you are still struggling with mental health issues, addiction, or suicide thoughts. You still have strength in your body, and I will pull them out.
Yes, you will, sir. I greatly appreciate your time and your passion. And I hope as many people as needed and as possible hear your message. And again,
They are hearing me,
yeah,
and I'm the one with the hearing aid, so
yeah,
that's a different problem.
yeah,
I have a disability as well.
yeah. Well, you are doing the Lord's work, as they say, Michael. So
Yep.
thank you so much for joining me today. And folks, I hope you've gotten as much out of Michael's inspirational talk as I have. If you want to reach out to me, you can find me at linktr.ee/Chris DT Gordon, where you can find my speaking websites to see what I can offer you and your young adults to have them engage in the attitude of gratitude. My freebies, my other websites, and the Tag and Pop Shop. Please check it out. Please like and subscribe to this channel. It really helps me get these wonderful messages out because people need to hear more positive messages in their lives. So thanks a lot. Please have a great day. And remember to pass on perfection and go for greatness.